Hi, everyone. I want to welcome you to my new channel. I want to talk in this video a little bit about myself, to introduce myself, to give a little bit about my background, how I hope the videos will be structured, and then to talk a little bit about why I want to be your ethics guide. Now, let's start with the last part I mentioned and just footnote it because I think I want to go a little bit further to say everything we experience has an ethics component to it. I want to talk about those difficult ethics things as a society because I think it's important we work them out. I don't want to assign blame. I just want to name those things that make life worth living and decide how we can go about doing those things. Before we get there, I want to go back to introducing myself since I haven't. My name is Stephen J. Squires, and as far as an education background goes, I have a Bachelor of Science in Biology with minors in philosophy and theology. I have a Master's of Education in College Student Personnel Administration. I have a Master's of Arts in Biomedical Ethics and Healthcare Policy. And I have a PhD or a doctorate in healthcare ethics. Now, this brings us to our first point of note or a caveat, which is I am not a medical doctor. I'm a PhD. So at no point in this series am I giving medical advice. However, having worked in the field for nearly 20 years, I can say a lot about the healthcare industry and how we can work with healthcare professionals. You might ask at this point, I consider myself an ethicist, and you might ask, well, what is an ethicist? You might also ask, is that a stupid question? No, it's not a dumb question. I frequently have had my family ask, what is an ethicist? And I've explained it and then explained it. So it's okay. I don't expect you to know. An ethicist is a professional who deals with the goods of life. What makes life worth living? An ethicist can also act as a mediator or intermediary or a facilitator when there are disputes about what makes life worth living or what a particular person might want if that person can't speak for him or herself. So I want to look at starting in this series with healthcare. And as I've said, disputes can occur, and that's when ethics or ethics consultants or ethicists get involved. So you might ask, what is a healthcare dispute? Let's say that you're a widowed parent with 2 adult children. Something happens, you wind up at a hospital, you're seriously ill, and let's say that you're paralyzed. You can't speak for yourself, and you don't have an advance directive, which is a person or a document that indicates your wishes. What would happen at that point is most states have a surrogate priority list, meaning this is a list you go down if you don't have a document of people who can speak for you. It generally starts with a spouse. Let's say you don't have your spouse. It then can often go to parents. Let's say your parents aren't there. And then it goes to the majority of your adult children. As I said, you have 2 adult children. One child who's geographically near you visits you every week and really knows the joy that life and family interactions bring. Your other child is more geographically distant. You don't see this child much. One of the last times you saw the child, which indicates how long you might have been between visits, you saw the movie $1 Million Baby when it was still relatively new. Now, I trust at this point, since $1 Million Baby has been out for years, I'm not giving too much of a spoiler. So given what happens in the movie, you watched it and you said, I wouldn't want to live like that. And your other child witnessed that. Now, what's happened is that your children are disagreeing. And if the state statute says healthcare professionals will listen to the majority of adult children about your wishes, but they're disagreeing about what those are, now we have a problem. This is often when somebody will call an ethics consultant or an ethicist to help sort things out. Ethicists work for hospital systems, but that doesn't mean they're in the tank for the hospital system. Ethicists are trained to resolve disputes, but they're also trained to find out what the patient wants. So everything that happens is really to find out what the patient, what you want. And I generally find that nurses and doctors and nurse practitioners and physician's assistants, everybody feels better when they also know what you want, because that's what causes a dilemma for them, is not knowing. The design of these videos is so that they're short. They're only about 5 to 10 minutes long, because I know you have busy lives and you would want something very compact to listen to. So think of me, at least to start out with, as your healthcare industry decoder to share inside information with you. And you might ask, well, why? Why do I need that? And I'm going to tell you, it's more than just human nature. By the way, that's a joke. Human Nature is a Michael Jackson song with the lyrics, why, tell him that it's human nature. And by the way, written by Steve Porcaro, who was in Toto. Random music fact. There's 2 reasons why. Rather than use seeing the forest through the trees metaphor, I want you to imagine a different image, and that's a caterpillar climbing a tree to eat some leaves. And guess what? You're the caterpillar. So when we imagine things in medicine, let's assume that in your medical journey, you're starting out low on the tree, on the trunk. And each time there is a branch that splinters off, that represents a decision in your medical journey. So each split represents a decision. Now, after time, you could find yourself in a whole different part of the tree than you wanted to be. That's one reason. The other reason is that knowing what to do as a patient saves you and many others time in the long run. Have you ever heard the phrase, take the time or it'll take more time? That's so true, especially when it comes to these decisions. And that's true for you and your family, as well as healthcare providers, healthcare professionals, clinicians. So everybody wants this to take the time or it'll take more time. So I'm happy to be your ethics guide. I hope we can talk about a wide range of issues. Again, not giving any medical advice. And I certainly look forward to more discussions.